Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Flophouse Mini. That's the mini voice saying mini.
Yeah.
This is a smaller episode of the Flophouse. Half the time, we watch a movie and we talk about it. But the other half of the time, we do other stuff. It could be anything, but usually it's anything that involves movies. I'm joined today by my regular subsidiary co-hosts.
Dan McCoy.
Stuart Lenton Wellington.
That's right. One of us has a middle name. Can you guess which one it is?
It was a real time saver, Stuart, when you recorded that one thing of you saying your name and just hit play every time it's necessary.
That's the thing. I'm working smarter, not harder.
Yeah, that's so true. Did I say my name? I can't even remember. Anyway, I'm Elliott Kalin.
Okay.
I don't know if I did. I'm Elliott Kalin. I'm here with Dan and Stu. And today, guess what, guys? We're talking March Madness. Brackets time. Everyone's doing brackets these days. Basketball brackets. Other kinds of brackets.
Shelving
brackets. Right or lay a bracket. So many different brackets. And so today we're going to do some brackets. But these brackets
Lee
are not...
bracket? Anyway,
Lee bracket? I don't know. I've never
so.
heard it said out loud. Okay, Lee bracket, sure. Actor Eddie Bracken. Again, not the same word, but it sounds kind of similar. Guys, here's the thing. What is really mad, what's real madness right now is the state of the world we live in.
Wow, truth teller.
Yep. Like, I'm just saying what everybody knows in their hearts. That things are cray right now. And I don't mean crayfish, which are delicious. I mean more like the Cray brothers, who were violent and terrible. So I wanted to talk about other worlds we might rather live in. Fantasy worlds, if you will.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do brackets of those. That's right. It's the March Madness Fantasy World. Where would you rather live? Showdown championships.
Sure.
So I'm going to go through lists of different fantasy worlds from films, and I'm going to ask you guys to tell me which one you'd rather live in, and then we're going to do this bracket style. They're pair-ups, and the winners of those will move on to the next rounds. Does that make sense?
I don't mean to cut your thing short, but if one of them is the world of Den in heavy metal, that's my pick, and I'll just dip.
Ooh, I'm so sorry. Den did not make it past the qualifying round.
Yeah.
I think it was there was something about it. I don't know what it was. Probably that I forgot about it, but it didn't make it into the qualifying round, so it is not one of them. But I think you'll find some worlds you might like. Now, the first round, of course, this is the Battle of the Ns. That's right, two worlds that start with N, kind of. One of them actually starts with F for a movie that starts with N. That is, would you rather live in Narnia from the Narnia films and books, or would you rather live in the never-ending story world of Fantasia? Narnia or the never-ending story world?
Cool.
Pretty cool stuff. Here's the thing.
Pretty cool stuff.
Dan said that the least engaged I've ever heard.
Dan sounded like nothing more than my own dad on the phone when he asked me about how I'm doing.
Yeah, he had substitute teacher energy of like, you know what the real 6-7 is.
Yeah, let's settle down, guys. We've had fun, so just...
That was real guy thinking of what he's doing later energy, yeah.
Did I tell you guys about like my brief time as a substitute teacher when my biggest triumph was some of the students were like, Mr. McCoy, draw a scared cat. And I drew a scared cat
that shit
on the blackboard. And they're like, wow, it really looks like that's what a scared cat looks like. And I've reached these children.
Dan goes, you got to scare a lot of cats in real life so that you know what one looks like.
Yeah, that's Dan's turn his chair around backwards moment. It's like, I've reached the kids by drawing scared cats.
Let's wrap around scared cats. So, Stuart, Dan is off in his own fantasy land of the past, imagining his past victories and conquests. Stuart, would you rather live in Narnia or the never-ending story?
Okay, let me just work through this real quick. So we got so Narnia has evil Tilda Swinton. That's a plus.
Yep. I mean, she's technically from another world, but she's in Narnia when it's introduced in the books. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lion that talks, and that's
there's
cool.
There's a talking Christ lion.
There's also a wardrobe.
There's a wardrobe. Don't forget
I was going to say, but there is like Santa. It's a little too Christian for me. I'm going to go Never-Ending Story because there are those like Sphinx babes that blast you with laser beams.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like a nothing thing. Yeah, it's great.
That's a plus to you? No.
The nothing is a bad thing.
Here's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, but it gives, the thing is, a hero is only defined by the villains that oppose him, right?
Oh, I see.
And the nothing's pretty powerful. And when I stop that thing, I'm going to look extra cool.
So the older I get, the less, I grew up in a Christian household, but the less religious I get. In
I mean,
any sort of...
you're pretty much just a, if you have to admit it, you're just a closet Satanist at this point, right?
No, I believe
you only go twice a year to Hell Church, but
I believe in a vague idea of being nice to people.
Okay.
But C.S. Lewis, as Christian thinkers go, was not a terrible one. And the thing about Narnia is, like, once you get rid of like the bad stuff, like those Pevensey kids, hung out. They were kings and queens. They had a great time for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Whereas Neverending Story is being devoured by literal nothingness. So I think I would have to go with Narnia.
Yeah, but there's racing snails, dude.
I mean, the stuff in it looks cooler. I got to give it that.
I'm gonna since we have a tie here, and
there's
we
a
need to
giant
move
guy
on to the
made out of
brackets.
rocks who eats rocks.
He eats rocks. He's a rock cannibal. I'm gonna be the tiebreaker here. I'm only gonna step in when I have to break a tie, and I'm gonna say, guys, once that nothing is taken care of, which it is at the end of the movie, I'm going to go Neverending Story. You can ride a luck dragon, a racing snail, that's bat
true. The
gliding thing.
Cool.
The pyramids who are just they're not afraid to just go around topless, or the sphinxes, and not pyramids, sphinxes.
They're not afraid.
The pyramid head from Silent Hill going around topless.
Whereas Narnia's great, but you know what? I like the stuff. My favorite Narnia book, this is another movie, is The Magician's Nephew. They don't spend that much time in Narnia in The Magician's Nephew, So that tells me that Narnia is not the best. Okay, moving on. Round 2, Star Wars, the Star Wars universe versus Thra, the planet from the Dark Crystal. Which fantasy world would you rather live in? A world of rebels fighting the Empire across a far-flung galaxy, and there's lots of talking bear men and stuff. Well, I guess he doesn't talk; he just growls. You can be a pirate on a spaceship with a bear man as your co-pilot, or a world of Skeksis and Gelflings and what are those little guys that just like to play music in the woods and hang out?
Hippies.
Yeah. There you go. Would you rather live in a more George Lucas-y fantasy world or a more Muppety fantasy world?
When you put it that way, it seems like I'm going to go Muppets. Here's the thing.
Return of the Jedi has some Muppety characters in it.
Yeah,
Jim Henson worked on that too. And Yoda's kind of a Muppet.
Star Wars, I love the look of the Dark Crystal. Star Wars is a much more enjoyable thing to watch than Dark Crystal, which despite my love of the artistry for it, I find kind of boring a lot of it.
Wow.
I think it's amazing, but also kind of boring. It can be two things.
That's true. It contains multitudes, yeah.
I love them both as worlds, but I have to be honest with myself that I want technology. I don't want to just be sort of wandering around in the wilderness. So
you don't want to just be wearing kind of homespun clothes while you drink soup broth out of a clay bowl, a misshapen clay bowl. That's what Dark Crystal life seems like to me.
You are also suggesting that you crave the gentle hand of the Empire, some kind of authority.
Well, that's the problem.
Regulating.
Clearly, there's this fascist
really snappy
government.
Outfits.
I mean, that's the
but
thing.
I've gotten used to that. So.
When you live on Thra, at any point, one of those big crab monsters, the Gartham, right, can just come and attack your observatory, your alchemist observatory. But in Star Wars, the Empire's there to keep you safe.
That shit took forever to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're under the thumb of the
They're
Empire.
They're smashing all her windows. Where's she going to get glass in Thra?
Yeah.
Who makes that?
The Skeksis are also doing bad shit. I don't feel like either one of them is free from danger. So
and the elders. Kind of boring, right?
They are. The ancients. Yeah, I will say this.
Sorry.
The thing about the Dark Crystal that is its weakness to me is the ancients are very. But when they're going, even as a kid, I found that very dull, and I was like, give me some Skeksis. I want to see some Skeksis. So Stuart, what about? So Dan says the Star Wars universe. Stuart, what about you?
Okay, so I'm going to base this more on the fact that. So I love the Dark Crystal, but I don't need more of the Dark Crystal. One movie, that's absolutely enough. And I feel like Star Wars, at least there's a little more space. Probably they've already given me
Pun
too
intended.
much, but there's a little bit more space to breathe.
Pun
so
intended.
I feel like I'm going to go Star Wars just because I feel like there's a little more
space, pun intended,
stuff to explore.
Yes, that's true. It's multiple worlds. But you could go to a desert world, you go to a frozen world, you go to a forest world. It's pretty much it. Yeah. But Thra is just the one place. So Star Wars wins that one handily. I'm not that surprised. Go to round 3. I think we might have a ringer in this one. But this might be a tough one. It's Middle Earth or Oz 1939 Wizard of Oz version. Middle Earth or Oz from the 1939
I
Wizard
don't
of Oz
want to go
movie.
to a fucking prison, dude.
Wait, which one's that?
Not Oz. No, not Oz the television show.
Oh,
No. Oz from the
okay,
Wizard of Oz.
I get
that
what's
Yeah.
seemed
going
like
on.
it was bad.
No, that's not a fantasy world. That's an all too grim reality, unfortunately, you know.
Jeez Louise. Like this.
Middle Earth,
So-
the world of hobbits and orcs and whatever, or Oz, the world of munchkins and flying monkeys.
Again, this depends on like when we enter this world, because like
Well, let's talk about it.
Oz, like obviously there's danger in that world, but it feels less dangerous than Sauron, sweeping over the land. But
what if you were there during the Hobbit times?
if we're doing it like pre or post, like I would love to be a hobbit. That seems like kind of the ideal life.
I bet,
you
Dan,
know?
you would be a great hobbit. You would really
you'd
fit
fucking
in well.
Crush that, dude.
Live in a little hole, eat just a bunch
Yeah.
of meals all day, and just smoke a pipe, and you will not and get mad at people throwing your dishes around while they're singing. Yeah, I could see you loving that. Yeah.
No, I think for that reason I have to go Middle Earth. I
Okay,
have to.
Stuart, what about you?
What are you, fucking idiot?
Wow. Jeez Louise.
I
How
figured that
long,
would be the
how long have
response.
you known me, dude?
I figured that would be the response. Okay, so Middle
Yeah,
Earth
I
wins
want to
that
hang out
one.
with my fucking orc buddies, feast on
Oh,
man flesh.
wait, that's what you
march
want?
around, sing fucking songs.
Oh, Hobbit Dan better watch out when Orc Stew shows up to,
Yeah.
to attack
Where
the Shire.
there's a whip,
Or we could be
there's
unlikely
a way.
friends.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, well, maybe this is the story. It's like a Midnight Run type thing, or like some kind of mismatched buddy comedy between an orc and a hobbit. You know,
Yeah.
Well, that sounds great. Okay, round 4. Interesting. We have some more Oz's in the mix. There's Oz Return to Oz version or Oz Wicked version. Which would you prefer to live in? Oz from the Wicked movies or Oz from Return to Oz?
One's terrible and one's kind of lame, so it's hard to.
I will say,
No.
having rewatched Return to Oz recently, I liked it a lot more than I used to.
No, I think it's a good movie. It's just terrifying.
Oh, it's just it's a terrible place to live. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. It
Yeah.
feels very sad, but that's because the Gnome King put everyone in his jail, or whatever. So he made them all into little trinkets in his halls.
And I want to be clear. Like I like the first Wicked movie just fine, but the second one I thought
What
was
do you say
so
was
bad.
wicked good?
No. I'd say it was
Well, because
Wicked,
Dan's not from Boston.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
their
this
culture's
movie's
not a
wicked
costume.
pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a wicked okay.
Why don't you go first, Stuart? For
Yeah,
one.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I'm completely unfamiliar with Return to Oz, so I think I'm going to have to pick Wicked just because. But
Okay.
it's a little bit
That's-
too clean.
That's the third movie, Wicked, just because.
It's called the first was Wicked Cha-ching. That's what it's called.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna go with
Just because. Just the characters hanging around talking about the previous Wicked movies. Hey, remember that time when I went to school with you? And then it's just that whole sequence,
Yeah.
the first movie. Yeah.
Even though it's deflating over time, and I don't like the weird digital haze, I'm going to go with the world of Wicked as well, just because
Okay.
I think living in Return to Oz would be too scary.
Okay. I get it is very scary, but you love the you love that it's practical effects.
I from a distance, I'd rather I think watch Return to Oz again than. But
But you'd rather live in. I mean, Wicked has a functioning train system, whereas Return
Yeah.
to Oz does
Yeah.
not. So that right there, mass transit is helpful. All right, we're almost at the. We're almost ready for our break. We're almost ready for the halftime show, which is just ads. But let's do just a couple more brackets. Let's see. Would you guys rather live on Skull Island from King Kong,
Okay,
Or-
that's pretty dope.
the fairy tale land from Into the Woods? Which would you rather live in, Skull Island or the fairy tale land? And now, Skull Island, you could say, oh, then I'll just hop a ship and get back to regular non-fantasy life. No, you got to stay on Skull Island.
Okay. I'm going to have to go Skull Island. There's giant insects I can ride around on. There's a giant King Kong I can probably hang out. I feel like we'd get along, right?
Oh, I definitely think so. Yeah.
I think so. So, yeah, we'd be buddies. And then he'd get in fights with dinosaurs and I get to watch that shit. That's cool.
All of these. I hate to be reductive, but it all sort of like goes down to like where do I feel like safer? And this
Yeah.
one's actually kind of a hard call because initially you would think like, oh, of course, Into the Woods you'd feel safer than Skull Island, but in Into the Woods, the narrator has been killed. Like,
Yeah.
We're spinning into pure chaos.
There's a giant's wife stomping around. There's a witch. There's a wolf.
No happy endings are Guaranteed.
And you have to watch what you say because children will listen. And watch what you do because children will see.
So even though I have a greater fondness as a property for Into the Woods, I think I'm going to go with Stu. I think I'm going to go to Skull Island.
I love that Skull Island.
It's not as dangerous.
Not as dangerous. Skull Island, where you're liable to get eaten by any number of dinosaurs.
Of terror on Monster Island.
Don't worry, it's just a name. I thought it was just a name. What they meant was Monster Island is actually a peninsula. All right, we've got one more before we take our quick break. Would you guys rather live in Toontown from Roger Rabbit or Dinosaur City from the Mario Brothers movie, the old one?
I thought it was going to be Cool World. I thought it was going to...
Oh, damn.
You know what? Should we do it? Should we then no Toontown or Cool World Toontown?
No, you're the game master. You're what was it? Cool World or Dinosaur City?
No,
that's not
Toontown.
Cool World.
Not Cool World. You know what? One of my later ones, I'm going to change one of my later ones to Cool World.
Okay.
so Toontown from Roger Rabbit or Dinosaur City from the original Super Mario Brothers movie.
Now, look, I get it. Toontown, it's got to be annoying. They just don't fucking stop doing bits and
It's
shit.
frenetic. Yeah.
But I think if you can get into the vibe, it works. And sometimes you'll go into Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like the one time we see Bob Hoskins' character, Eddie Valiant, that's his name, go into Toontown. It seems like
He
a
hates
relentless series of terrors. Like he is just being bedeviled on all ends by, supposedly nice tunes, not even evil tunes, but like good tunes are like fucking with him left and right.
Yeah, that's what tunes do.
But you know what? I love those tunes. I love those wacky tunes. So I'm going to go with Toontown.
I think you guys are right about Toontown. I think once you get into it, you'll be good. And also, Dinosaur City, there's no sunlight ever in that city.
Yeah.
You would go nuts.
At least we'd have a giant sun with a face that like winks at us.
Exactly. Who wouldn't want that? We're at least living in the eternal darkness of the cyberpunk dystopia of Dinosaur City.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised, Dan, that you didn't take it because it's a pretty sexy Dinosaur City. But
Dinosaur City.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know what? Toontown wins. Let's take a break from the brackets. We just have a couple more in the first round to get through. But let's take a break. We've got a Jumbotron sponsor to read today. Ooh. And this is a commercial Jumbotron, and it goes like this. Craig Johnson has a PhD in history and is a host of 15 Minutes of Fascism, a sadly topical podcast covering the global rise of fascism. Don't doom scroll all day. Just listen once a week for a digestible 15 minutes instead. Craig stares into the abyss so you don't have to. And check out his book, How to Talk to Your Son About Fascism, a guide for keeping young men out of the fascist rabbit hole. Check out 15 Minutes of Fascism on your podcatcher of choice and order How to Talk to Your Son About Fascism from your local bookstore. Sounds like a needed public service.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is John Hodgman and Jan Varney coming to you from the flight deck. Please be comfortable. We have now reached our cruising altitude.
Well, that's correct. You are now free to listen to the latest season of E Pluribus Motto. As always, this season we'll discuss the official mottos of U.S. states and territories for your enjoyment.
Look out the window. You'll see local iconography and creatures of all sorts that will be discussed this season, including California quails,
Puerto Rican frogs,
North Dakota horses,
spiders of New Hampshire,
and all manner of official and unofficial state cryptids. I've now turned on the enjoyment sign, so please start enjoying new episodes of E Pluribus Motto every other week on Maximum Fun and wherever you get your podcasts.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy your listen.
Saginaw, Michigan, Galveston, Texas, Albany, New York, the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, and Muncie, Indiana. We've just added these cities to the growing list of meetups on April 23rd for Max Fun Meetup Day. Didn't hear your city or don't know where your local meetup is? Head to MaximumFun.org/meetup and we've got all the details there. And if you still don't see your city listed, host your own. Find somewhere, a park, library, cafe, bar, any public space a small group can hang. Then fill out the form at MaximumFun.org/meetup and we'll add you to the page so other folks in your area can find you. That's MaximumFun.org/meetup. Hope to see you on April 23rd.
This week, the podcast is sponsored in part by Hims. Hey, if you choose to do something about your hair loss, if that's something you want, you probably have better places to be than sitting in a waiting room for some hair loss treatment. Make it easy. Hims makes expert care accessible on your schedule so you can skip the line and focus on feeling like yourself again. It offers convenient access to a range of prescription hair loss treatments with ingredients that work, including chews, oral medications, serums, and sprays. Doctor-trusted ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil can stop further hair loss and regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. No hidden fees, no surprise costs, just real personalized care on your schedule when you want it. Damn it. This is 2026. Get that hair loss treatment on your schedule. So, for simple online access to personalized and affordable care for hair loss, ED, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/flop. That's hims.com/flop for your free online visit. hims.com/flop. Individual results may vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride. Featured products include compounded drug products which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. See website for full details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Before we get back to the main game, I also remind people that I have a few things I always plug that I'm going to continue plugging. My new comic book series, Barbarian Behind Bars, from Mad Cave Studios. It asks, what if a Conan the Barbarian type fantasy character ends up in prison? Then we have Harley Quinn, which I'm writing for DC Comics. We're about to start a storyline that I think people will like that has a lot of Batman stuff in it. And there's Joke Farming, my book about how to write jokes and how jokes work, from University of Chicago Press, Joke Farming, available in ebook and in print, and before too long, I'm going to be recording an audiobook version of it.
Ooh.
Very exciting. Do you guys have anything you would like to plug before we move on with the brackets? Okay, welcome back to March Madness Fantasy World's brackets. We are almost done with our first round, and then we will see who goes into the semifinals. I don't know, quarterfinals. I don't remember what order the finals went. Anyway, guys, our next matchup.
Not our area.
Our next matchup was originally going to be Never Neverland from Peter Pan or the Spirited Away Bathhouse World. But you know what? I'm knocking Never Neverland out and replacing it with Cool World because I know Dan loves it. So where would you rather live? In Cool World, where Holly would if Holly could, or the Spirited Away world where you can give a bath out, you can give baths to monsters and ride a sad train? Which would you prefer?
This is, this.
Oh wait, are we noids or doodles?
Yeah.
Well, think about it. Which would you, if you were annoyed as you are now, which as you are a humanoid, right? You are not a doodle. Would you rather live in that world? But also, if you want to weight it where you're a doodle instead of annoyed, we could do it that way.
Yeah. The thing is, if you're annoyed, you can't have sex with doodles. And it seems like that's the only...
That's like 90% of the
only appeal of Cool World. Because here's to be frank, other than the sexiness of Cool World, that place seems irritating.
Oh, it seems terrible, right?
There's shit going on all over the place. None of it seems to have anything to do with anything else. It's the soundtrack is good, but it's loud and relentless.
There's also no sunlight. I think it's always nighttime there. Yeah.
I'm going to shock the world and say I'm picking Bathhouse. I mean, that's it's just so chill and there's so many weirdos there, but in a way that I don't find annoying.
Yeah. As much as it might seem like I'd go Cool World, I got to go Bathhouse too. That's a calm.
Tough one now.
Spirited Away Bathhouse World, you guys are eager to have your parents turn into pigs so that you can give baths to frogs and big kind of gross goopy guys.
And then when I leave, I'm gonna give them a toaster oven that has a chunk of pure evil, and I'm like, Mom and Dad, touch this thing,
No.
so I can go back to hang out with my bathhouse buddies.
Oh, that's a different thing. Now we have one final first round duo. That is, would you rather live in Barbie Land from the movie Barbie or Hyboria, the home of Conan the Cimmerian? A savage world where the only law is your strong right sword hand.
I'm going to jump in front of Dan here. Now, there's a second where I was like, oh, maybe I feel like I love the pinks and the bright colors and the energy and, the lessons we're learning in Barbie world. But you know what? The only lessons I need come at the end of a blade. So take me to Hyboria, baby.
Yeah. Crom doesn't get, he does not give you fancy clothing or a sense of style. He only gives you life and the strength to endure it. Dan, what about you? Would you rather live in Barbie Land or Hyboria?
I can't be a barbarian. Number one, but number two, like, yeah, the vibes in Barbie Land seem great. Like in general, like these days, I think I have more closer male friends, but like in general, like I find women like easier to relate to, and it's a very women-centric society. Yeah, like I would go to Barbie Land.
You know what? As much as I enjoy stories set in savage fantasy lands where the only law is a strong sword arm, I think I would not want to actually live. Comparing that to Barbie Land, a place where it's mostly beach parties and having fun,
Yeah.
I think I would go with you, Dan. So as the tiebreaker, I'm going to choose Barbie Land. Sorry, Conan.
Yeah, cowards.
Okay. Okay, moving on to the second round, we have some new matchups based on our winners. So
Okay.
first, there's the Neverending Story World, Fantasia, or the Star Wars universe. Which would you rather live in? Neverending Storyland or Star Wars?
Again, there's cool stuff in Neverending Storyland. I just can't deal with the idea of a wave of nothingness coming.
Cool
Even
stuff? You're just saying Jonathan Brandis stuff?
even if that's what I'm saying. Even if we conquer it, even if like things turn out all right, like that is such
You're always going to be
horrifying
afraid of the
concept.
nothingness coming back, as that is. Whereas again, the
Yeah.
cradling, loving paternal arm of the Empire.
Look,
Yeah.
there's so many
Shields you.
pockets of the
The
universe where you
trains
can
run
hide
on
out.
time is what he's saying.
Yeah, the space trains run on time. Yeah,
You know, even if I got to go to Dagobah where no one cares about anything, like
yeah, where it bubbles all the time like a giant carbonated soda. That's from the song Yoda by Weird Al Yankovic.
no, I context clues. Even
Yeah,
though
sure.
I'm not. I'm gonna go Star Wars. What do you say, Stu?
Yeah, I'm going to go Star Wars. I mean, I'm going to hang out. I'll be a fucking bartender or work at Dexter Jetster's fucking diner or something.
That is true. There are a couple. These are I think we've talked about this before. There are only a few jobs in the Star Wars universe. You can be a smuggler, a soldier, a bounty hunter,
Yep.
or a food service worker or live music performance artist. Those are
Yeah.
the 5 jobs that you can have. I mean, and maybe like a mechanic. You know, you can be like a mechanic that works on spaceships. So, okay. So the Star Wars universe advances to the next round. Let's see what's going to advance in this next matchup. That's Oz from the Wicked movies or Middle Earth. Which would you prefer to live in?
Oh,
Middle
it's
Earth
a
or
real
Oz
mystery.
from the Wicked movies?
Yeah, Middle Earth is a pretty easy choice for me to make. Again,
I love how Dan's like, I can't deal with the nothingness, but the shadow of Sauron over the land. You know what? Maybe I'll just sit in my hole and just eat spice cakes.
Let the world of the big people sort
Look,
itself out.
if the Shire might burn one time, okay,
might be
but
scoured
It
once.
might need a little bit of
99%
scouring,
of the
just a
time.
little bit of scouring.
the
I mean,
Shire is.
I feel like that's a plot hole because shouldn't the hobbits have just not let Sharky in? You know,
Sharky's machine, though, it's hard
Yeah,
not to
that's
let that
true,
in.
yeah.
So Middle Earth advances, not a surprise. What a rich fantasy world. Speaking of rich fantasy worlds, let's look at our next round. It's Skull Island, King Kong's home, and Toontown, where all the Toons live. Would you rather live in Skull Island, a land of jungles, prehistoric creatures, and danger, or Toontown, a land of mixing IP and frenetic violence?
and the chance of a piano falling on you and crushing.
You might have a piano fall on you. You might have a lady go, "Oh man," and then chase after you. You know.
Mhm.
a lady, Lena Headey. She doesn't mix.
Sorry, I apologize. And what cartoon is she from originally?
I don't know, Stuart. What are you gonna go with?
I'm gonna go Toontown.
It's a
I
reflection.
can't help it.
Yeah, it's a reflection, I think, of the inside of my brain. Like the closest to any of these of just like what's going on in my head is Toontown. So
I bet I get it, but also like Dan, I feel like you would feel right at home in Toontown. But also Toontown, going by some of the standards you were suggesting earlier, Skull Island seems cool, but Toontown is a place where even as frenetic as it is, you have a house with a roof over your head.
Yeah.
You can drive a
Yeah.
car. You have plumbing.
That house might explode, and your hair all sticks up, and
Well,
you have
that's-
soot all over you. But you can make another
that's
one.
the thing.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
explode, you don't die.
Yeah.
You're just all black for a
Whereas
while.
Skull Island, you better believe you're going to die if you explode. There's so
Yeah.
many things that can kill you. Whereas Toontown, Tone Town. Tone Town is more about a
Take me to
feel,
Tone
man.
Town.
Yeah.
Take me down to Tone Town. Toontown,
That's
you're
the
not going to
jazz
die.
club in
Yeah.
Toontown. Yeah.
Actually, was Eddie Valiant in real danger in Toontown or no? He wouldn't die as long as he was there?
I think he like bounces on the ground, doesn't he? Like or something.
I
Yeah.
don't remember. What
Well,
happens
because
with
the
it?
ground is
He
animated as
smashes.
well.
Oh, okay.
And there's he climbs out of a hole, but he's still alive.
Yeah.
Or maybe the rest of the movie is a dream he's having in the last
Yeah.
moments before he dies in Toontown.
It's possible.
Now let's move on to this next, the next round of the final round of the semifinals or quarterfinals, whichever it is. We've got the Spirited Away bathhouse versus Barbie Land. Would you rather be in a Japanese world of steamy public baths and
Filled with
delicious
aliens
treats,
and monsters and
filled with
treats,
aliens and monsters, or filled with yokai of all forms?
Thank
Or
you.
would you rather live in Barbie Land, where it's just kind of a 24-hour party, but there's this kind of a pit of emptiness at the core of it that Barbie has to figure out?
Yeah.
And would
I
you
mean,
guys be Kens, or would you be a different type of doll? Like,
Honey. Baby.
I'd probably be that Michael Cera one.
yeah, I think so. And Stuart, you'd be a Ken probably. I
Yes.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be old Ken. No, I mean
The old Ken Chronicles.
yeah.
He has to travel the world, yeah, with a walking
Um,
stick and a long beard, yeah.
Yeah. No, take me back to that bathhouse. I mean, no filmmaker has ever made food look as delicious as Miyazaki.
I'll give you that. The food, when the parents are eating that food and turning into pigs, I'm like, yeah, the same thing would happen to me. Everything looks fantastic. It looks
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Here's the thing. In Barbie Land, do I not have genitals? Yes. That's a big negative. But what do I hate
Whereas
more?
the Spirited Away bathhouse, you're just fucking like crazy.
Well, it's not like there's anything to fuck there.
No, you're
But,
constantly
wait a
constantly
minute.
sneaking into the back room with a frog or a big chick or something like that,
Thank
a
you.
big bird. Yeah.
But
Gets it.
the thing
Imagine
about
what you could do. That guy who works the bellows and the furnace in the bottom has got a lot of arms. What can he do with those? You know.
if there's one thing I hate more than anything, I think it's uncertainty.
Yeah.
Just like not
We can
not
see how the
sort of
nothingness
understanding.
the nothingness really strikes a nerve with you. It really
Yeah,
bothered
yeah.
you. Yeah. I think it's that uncertainty. Yeah.
And the Spirited Away world, I would constantly be like, what the fuck is going on? What are the rules here? I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So I think I got to go with Barbie Lands.
Okay,
we got
Elliott
another tie.
tiebreaker. Yeah.
Another tie. Spirited Away Bathhouse versus Barbie Land. Here's the thing. I like the movie Spirited Away more, but I feel like it's the difference of, do I work at the bathhouse or am I a customer at the bathhouse? Because it seems pretty stressful to work there. It's a lot customers constantly coming in. They all have different needs. You got to get those different tiles to like get the right bath salts and things like that and bath bombs. But if I'm a customer there, oh man, what a sweet place to be. It seems so relaxing. You know, it just seems so like your every need is taken care of, whether you're a giant frog or a big baby chick or whatever that kind of like octopusy type guy is, who's like all big and takes up the elevator.
Roger Moore.
Yeah, that octopusy guy, Roger Moore. So actually, I think, to be honest, Barbie Land, I think the colors would start to hurt my eyes after a little while. It's a little too bright. So you know what? I'm going to say, if I'm a customer, Spirited Away Bathhouse. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry, Barbie Land. A nice place to
Surprisingly
visit, but I
strong
wouldn't want to
contender,
live there.
though.
Yeah.
It is surprising. Well, this is like, I did this. So I was on the Screen Drafts podcast with Jordan Morris, where they do like kind of this kind of brackets, where they kind of not brackets, but you draft things into a list of movies. And it was
Yeah.
Supernatural Kids. And as we went through it, it seems so clear to me that Kiki's Delivery Service was like the best movie about a supernatural kid. Like I just love that movie. So there's something about Miyazaki is magic. You know, his movies are magic, and they make the things that are in them seem really magical. There's something like Miyazaki understands the magic of like a package wrapped in paper with string tied around it, or something like that. Or a wooden cabin with like a hot teapot on an old stove or something like this, and it just makes everything seem really wonderful to be around, even when a bloody dragon is crashing through the windows of the bathhouse, or three weird heads are just bouncing around going rope, rope, rope. It still seems magical and really nice to be there, you know. Even when some kind of ancient bioweapon is coming out of a mountain and scaring everybody. There's still something kind of like, well, I'd love to be there. That sounds really great. Yeah.
Yeah, even when you're an injured boy and there's this heron yelling at you, like, it still seems nice.
Exactly. Even when you're designing aircraft for the Japanese Air Force before World War II, like it's still, still seems like a sweet place to be.
Even when your mom is sick.
Even when you're, well, but that's even
you
like,
got a friend, you got a neighbor. In that
I mean,
case.
well, that's
horrible.
also, that's the thing. Like that movie, Totoro is such a fantastic movie. And like, so like, even when you're like running around looking for your missing sister and you're upset, like it's still like, oh, this seems like a great place to be. I really love this.
Because you get to bounce on a big cat creature.
Yeah, and you get to ride in a bus that's a cat, and in the end you get to visit your mom and she's going to be okay. What a good movie. All right, guys. You know what? It's too bad Totoro Land couldn't be in here because it's not really like a place. It's just Japan.
It's called
Japan,
dude. Yeah. No, it's not a fantasy place is what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go now to the semifinals. This is what's going to decide our final matchup of the episode. And our first one, this is going to be a tough one, guys. The Star Wars universe versus Toontown. Where would you rather live? Would you rather live in the galaxy a long time ago in a far, far away? I kind of worded that weirdly. Or Toontown, the place where funny ideas live and breathe.
This is where finally the oppressive government comes into play because
Okay, interesting.
like there's no equivalent danger in Toontown. There's talk of Toontown being demolished, but that's staved off by the end of the film.
And that's not the Toon's fault. That's not inherent to Toontown.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a Toon's fault.
It is a Toon's fault, but that Toon has, like the pigs at the end of Animal Farm, has kind of gone native with live action humans.
But that's the sort of uncertainty about the future that I've learned to live with in my day-to-day life, you know? So I think I'm going to have to go with Toontown in this case. It's a surprise pick, but
this is a weird one, but I feel like having the oppressive government will give me my life meaning. It'll give me something to fight against.
Well, Stuart, have I got news for you?
Oh boy, guess what? The opportunity is here.
And I fight against it in the ways that I can. And I feel like Toontown is this chaotic thing that I can't necessarily add anything to. But it's a tough call. I think I'm going to go Star Wars.
Tough call. And it's hard. So I'm going to have to be the tiebreaker on this between Star Wars and Toontown. And it's tough because, again, Toontown is frenetic. You will never get a good night's sleep. That's for sure. Because your eyelids will always pop back up again like blinds that you pulled down. Whereas Star Wars, I don't know. When I was a kid, I think I would have loved to have lived in the Star Wars world because it seems so exciting. And now when I watch the Star Wars movies, I do get more of a sense of like just the oppressiveness and the lack of, your life is entirely defined by the existence of the Empire, whether you are avoiding it or you're living in the kind of shadowy underworld that is the result of it, or you are the only way to escape it seems to be like a farmer off on a far off planet somewhere where you're at least on the fringes of that. But even then there's your local gangsters. It's an idea of the universe that is entirely about kind of sinister power taking hold. And even in the prequels, when it's the Republic and it's supposed to, things are ostensibly maybe a little better, there's still a sense of an exhaustedness of the universe, a lack of inspiration in the people of the universe, a feeling of better times were always in the past. There was always a goal when you're during the Empire,
like the days of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Exactly. Yeah. When you're living under the Empire, you wish for the Old Republic. When you're living in the Old Republic, you're wishing for the golden age of the Jedi, And I feel like, I think living in a world that is like that now, where people are always yearning for a past that maybe didn't actually really exist, compared to the eternal now of Toontown, where there is nothing but possibility, maybe too much possibility, but they really force you to live in the moment, because if you don't, an anvil will fall on your head and crush you and flatten you down. There's something exciting about that. And so I'm going to pick Toontown. So I'm going to throw my weight behind Toontown.
Real
wow,
upset.
that's a huge upset.
A huge upset. A lot of
talk
people
about IPs fighting each other.
And
luckily,
now,
Disney owns it all.
So who will Toontown be up against in the final battle? Because there's only one thing. Is it the Spirited Away bathhouse or Middle Earth? Stuart, you're gonna have to. This is like cutting a baby in half for you. This can be hard. Yeah. Don't do that, by the way. This is Elliott Kalan endorsing not cutting babies in halves.
Unless you're in Toontown.
Unless you're in Toontown, in which case
probably.
Stuart, go for it. You go first on this one.
Middle Earth versus the Spirit Away Bathhouse.
This is a really tough call.
Stuart's thinking.
You
can see how difficult it is for him. It's written on his face. Yeah.
I think I have to go Middle Earth.
He's being true to himself, everybody. He's being true to himself. You can't fault him for that.
It seems like I'm just trying to create drama, but here, like the last matchup, here's where the danger of the world really starts to come into play and flips things. Because as much as hobbity as my interests are, I feel like a world with that kind of violent danger in it versus a bathhouse where I just might be weirded out by some stuff. I got to go with the bathhouse.
At worst, you would have to be a worker at the bathhouse.
Yeah.
And that, honestly, there's joy in that job.
So I'm going to go Spirited Away.
But it's just, so you're going to say Spirited Away. I think I'm going to, so it's a tie again. Middle Earth versus Spirited Away. You know what? I'm going to be Dan on this one. The Dan of the past. I think despite the danger of Middle Earth, you could live a couple hundred years as a hobbit, just maxing and relaxing, seeming to have no job whatsoever. So it's not even the choice between bathhouse attendant and bathhouse guest. You don't have to worry about that because you know what? You can kind of be both when you're a hobbit. You can work for enjoyment and also enjoy as your work. And so I'm going to say Middle Earth, strangely enough, instead of the Spirited Away bathhouse, even though the food in Spirited Away looks much better to me than the Middle Earth food. I do not want to eat whatever the dry spice cakes or whatever they're eating in
fucking
Hobbit
lembas bread.
I don't want it as opposed to an endless Japanese food buffet. Yes, I would much rather.
You don't just want to eat an uncooked fish.
No.
Or taters, precious.
And so that brings us to our final matchup of the brackets. Which fantasy world will be the one that you guys will be living in? Because let's reveal how it works, folks. Whichever you choose, you will have to go live in at the end of this show.
It would have been a wild matchup, by the way. Toontown versus Spirited Away.
I think it was. I couldn't have done it with two cartoons. I think would be too. Would be no. Well, you know what? Should we do an upset audience?
No,
what do you think?
No.
Okay.
Stick with the.
Actually, as our side event, Toontown or the bathhouse? Which would you guys live in? The bathhouse, right?
Bathhouse.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Would you rather live in Toontown from Roger Rabbit or Middle Earth from the Lord of the Rings movies and television shows and books? Which would you rather have? Again, the frenetic, in some individual expression and excitement of Toontown, or the living under a shadow of danger, but it's a little bit easier going.
Yeah,
Middle Earth.
You put your finger right on it. For me, at this point, it's got to come down to vibes. Like the frenetic vibe versus pretty chill vibes, considering everything that's going on. And I got to go with the chill vibes of Middle Earth.
Yeah, I'm going to ride around on my eagle friends, and we're going to have all kinds of good times. It's got to be Middle Earth for me.
Okay, so
sorry, Toons.
You're choosing Middle Earth, but you know what, guys? As is my prerogative as the games master
You're
today.
Us straight to hell.
Yeah, exactly. You get to go to you just unlocked the lament configuration.
I always knew that was going to happen.
What if that was one of the? I should have put that in as one of the fantasy worlds as the Cenobite dimension. See if you guys want to stay there. They have such things to show you.
Kinda. I want to. They keep saying there's things. I want to see.
Do you think Pinhead's ever like nobody ever wants to see our things? We just want to show them our things.
They get mad and
Pinhead, can I just have the horny stuff without the barbed wire?
No, they're two sides of the same coin. The thin line between pain and pleasure. Nobody ever wants to play my games with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, guys, so Middle Earth is the winner. But that being said, that's the great thing about human imagination is we can go wherever we want in these fantasy worlds. So why don't Stu, Dan, me, I paid for us each to have a session of hot tubbing, massage, and endless Japanese food at the Spirited Away Bathhouse. So as we go and disrobe and get towels on and hang out with a bunch of frogs and yokai and things like that, I'll just say thank you for joining us today to our listeners as we decided that Middle Earth, I guess, is specifically the Shire, Hobbit Town, is the place that we want to live the most of all these fantasy worlds. The world we live in is unfortunately not a fantasy, but maybe we can do things to make it a little better than it was before. May never be perfect, but We can make it better. Thank you so much for listening. We are a product of the Maximum Fun Network, or rather an associate of it. They don't produce it. We do. We are produced, in fact, by Alex Smith, our producer and editor. He goes by Howell Doughty online, and check out his comedy and music. He's an immensely talented individual. We're lucky to have him in our lives. If you want to try other Max Fun podcasts, I would advise you to. I think they're great. The Max Fun Drive is coming up next month, and that's your time to show your support, and we appreciate ahead of time that you're doing that. Until then, we'll be back next week with another movie to talk about but we'll be super relaxed because we spent all that time at the Spirited Away bathhouse and then hung out in our hobbit hole just eating spice cakes. And what kind of bread was it, Stuart?
Limbus.
Limbus bread.
I'm not Stuart,
Limbus
but
bread.
I was closer to the microphone.
Yeah, no, you're Stuart now. You answered to his call. Now you're Stuart.
Oh, wow.
Freaky
Until next
Friday.
time. Until next time, I'm Elliott Kalin.
I've been Dan McCoy.
I'm still Stewie Wellington.
Or did we
Bye.
switch?
See ya.
Maximum Fun
A worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
supported
Directly
by you.